everyone, it's Annette. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to shop my supplies and use a product that I've had for a couple years and I've never used it. I bought this because I absolutely loved it and had to have it, and then I brought it home and I didn't quite know what to do with it. But I'm going to be using the Thinlits from Sizzix, and this one is called Leafy Twigs. And we're just gonna play around and see what I can do with this. So I'm gonna make a card, obviously, and we're going to be cutting this out of this beautiful teal cardstock. So let me get some tape and tape down this construction paper. I really don't need to. I mean, I have a beautiful glass mat, but I don't know why. I don't like cleaning it. So I always put construction paper down on my surface. I don't know, it's quirky, but that's just how I roll. And so we're just going to cut this first. So let's bring up the Sizzix Big Shot. And let's go ahead and get this sandwich on here. And I have found with these kind of dies, normally when I die cut, I have the cut side down on the cardstock. But this time I want to run it through with the cut side up. So we're just going to position it like that. And I'm going to put a metal shim on top just to add more pressure, and then my top plate. So let's see if that runs through. You might hear a bunch of crunching. And that's what we want. That crunching sound is what we want, because that means it's cutting through the paper. And I'm just going to run it through again. And I'm going a little bit slow. I don't want to go too fast. And then I just might bring it back. So I want to make sure I get a good pass, because if it does not cut through the cardstock once I remove it, I have to start over. I think we're just going to lose this piece of construction paper. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So it definitely cut through. Let me get rid of this. And then it's helpful with these dies that have a lot of pieces that are going to be falling out. If you have a piece of foam or just any kind of like a surface, even a towel, like one of those microfiber towels, or what really works well are those drying dish mats that are a little thicker. So you just flip it over, take it out. A lot of these pieces are already falling out. And if you have some sort of a pick tool, there's these little holes in the corner that will help get it started. And just very carefully take it out, and you'll have some pieces left in the die. You can get those out just by poking those out later. But for this, I'm just going to run my fingers gently. You'll get all these little bits and pieces out. That's scrap. And just take your time. And I like to get the majority off here, just like that. And then there will be some little pieces, little circles. I don't know if you can see that. The camera's probably not picking it up. But there are little circles here and there. And I'm going to go ahead and poke the rest of these out and then clean up this mess, and we'll be back. Okay, so here we have our piece, and all the little bits are taken out of it. And I die cut it again twice using white cardstock. So I had two pieces and I glued them together because I want to add some dimension to this blue piece. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on top of the white, and I will show you how to do that. It's easiest for me if I have my glue in a squeeze bottle that has a fine tip, because you can get the glue exactly where you want it. So you just want to go around, and I'm going to definitely go around the perimeter. And it seems like it takes a long time, but it really doesn't. You don't have to do every little section, but you definitely want to do the perimeter And then you want to hit some of the ones in the center, towards the center. And I have a silicone mat here. I like to use liquid adhesive on this because when it dries, it just peels off. It's so easy to clean. Whereas the glass mat, you got to scrape it and you have to fuss with it a little bit. And I like easy cleanup. I don't want to spend any more time cleaning up than I have to. So you just take your time and go around. Again, the glue does not dry immediately, so you have some time, but you do want to work fairly quickly. Like, you don't want to walk away from this. If you have to, you have to, but if you do have to walk away and come back, your glue will probably dry a little bit and you will have to add more to it. Not the end of the world, but that's just how it goes. Okay. All right, so I think we're good. All right, so we'll just leave that there and then just make sure it's oriented in the right way. Okay, so I see this is the same pattern up there, and all you want to do is just take your time and just line it up. Just line it up. I just line it up really on one edge, and the rest seems to just fall into place. And if there's a little bit of white showing behind it, that's fine. I'm not really bothered by that. If it's something you don't like, just cut all your pieces out of the same color. Or you can just do it once and not have any dimension. Really, if it's your project, you do it however you want. Okay. I kind of like some of the white coming through. And then I'm just going to pick it up just so it doesn't totally stick to the glue or to the mat. Okay. And if you're in these little tight spots, you can take a little pick tool just to kind of help move the paper, manipulate it a little bit. And you're kind of left with that. Okay. But it has a little bit of dimension to it. So what I like to do at this point is I'm just going to flip it over and put a heavy book on it. Okay, just for a couple minutes. In fact, I'm going to take it off camera because I need my work surface for the next part of this card, which is stamping. So let me bring in my mini Misti, and this has also been in my stash for a while. However, I have used it. I've used it a lot. I've brought it out in previous videos, but these stamps were clear like this one when I got it. So I've used it a lot. I love this, one of my favorites, and it's from Gina K, and it's called Vintage Summer. And I have the Vintage Summer die set that goes with it. So we're going to do the butterfly. And I'm going to show you a really cool technique. We'll end up using the butterfly die as well to cut it out. So let me grab a piece of quarter sheet cardstock. And I'm just going to place this in my Misti, and we're going to put the butterfly right about here. Because I only need a little bit, and I'll die cut it out, and then I can save this scrap for later. So, all right, and I want to show you a really cool technique because we're going to color this with marker and then we're going to stamp it again. So to get a real crisp line when you're doing stamping and then coloring, I like to stamp it in a light color first, which is, I'm using soft stone, but you can use anything like a light brown or an antique color brown or a craft color, you know, like the craft cardstock, but craft ink. But this is Soft Stone by Gina K, and I'm just going to go over the stamp and give it a light press. I just want enough where I can see it so I can color it. Let me just go a little bit more here. That's perfect. All right, and then leave the stamp exactly where it is because we need to stamp it again in black after we color. But we can take this out and let's just set that aside. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to check my little piece here and make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the book. Perfect. All right, that's all good. Okay, and then for the butterfly, I want to make this look like a monarch butterfly. So I just found my markers and just pulled out. I'm just going to use orange and yellow. And I have a light orange, a darker orange, and a yellow, because then I'm going to stamp it in black. And I want to leave a little bit of white space because I pulled up a picture of a monarch butterfly and they do have some white in them. So I'm going to just zoom in so you could see. And I'm going to start with the light orange. And I'm going to try to keep my head, I have a ball cap on, I'm going to try to keep my hat out of the shot. So this marker is just a dual tip marker. It's alcohol ink. So I don't know if it's the right kind of marker I should be using. You could use colored pencil, but I'm just going to go in and where these circles are, I want to color into the circles. And it doesn't have to be perfect because the black ink stamp is going to be a little forgiving. So we'll just go ahead. And yeah, this is the lighter color. And we're just going to do these outer circles. And these two down here. We'll do that on both sides. I'm not a great colorist. Let's see, what am I doing here? Yeah, these guys right here. But you know, you just do the best you can. I mean, it's all going to be fine. And then I'm going to put this darker orange. Actually, it looks lighter, but that's okay. I think I had my markers backwards, but there's no right or wrong. I could make this butterfly pink and green if I wanted to. Let's go here and then finish this out. Like I said, we're just leaving a little white space in some of these. And I really thought this orange was darker, but it looks like this one is. I'm going to just go in a little darker at the base here, just to give it some depth. And then I want to get some yellow. I think I'll do some yellow out here, just on the tips. And then down here. And I don't want to go outside the line because when I die cut it, the die leaves a little bit of a margin around the perimeter. And if I go outside the line, you're gonna see it. You're gonna totally see it. Okay. Just some yellow up here. I don't know if that's exactly what a monarch butterfly looks like, but we shall see what this looks like. Now we want to bring the stamping platform back in. Let me zoom back out just a little bit. And just make sure your cardstock's up in that corner where it was. And then I'm going to bring in some Gina K. This is her black Onyx dye ink. And we're just going to ink up that butterfly. And we're going to hope for the best. I think the ink is dry enough that I could stamp. Yeah, that looks really good. But I do need to stamp it one more time. Okay, there we go. That came out really nice. Isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to let this dry just for a second, and then we're going to die cut that out. So let me get this is my chamois tool or my tidy towel, gets all the ink off. But you know, inks, especially dye inks, it's a dye, so it will stain your stamps. But clean them off, they're good to go for the next time. All right, so I'm just putting those away, and I believe we're done with that. And I think we can go ahead and cut this out. So let's get some mint tape in here and let's position the die. And to do this, because this little guy has, you know, these little antennae and this little tail, I'm just focusing on those, making sure they're lined up. And that looks pretty good. And then we'll tape it down, top and bottom. Whoops, I bumped it. Okay. All right, let me bring the Misti, or the Big Shot back up here. And for this sandwich, I just need to use my regular, which is the platform, the adapter. Then I usually have my shim and my magic mat. Let me zoom back out. I feel like you're right on top of me, or I'm on top of you. And then we'll put that in there and we'll run it through. Okay. I'm pretty confident that that cut through. Yep. This mint tape is wonderful for die cutting because it will not rip your cardstock, and I could save this piece as scrap for another project. Okay, and then let me show you that sweet little butterfly. Okay, so we're going to use him. Get this out of the way. And then let's bring this piece back in, this die cut piece. And then what I'm going to do is I have a card base, okay, and all the measurements for everything will be in the description, but I have my card base measurement, and this is just the size of the Thinlit, so I will, you know, put that description down below as well. And we're going to just glue this to the card base. So for this, I do like to bring out my scoring board because I'm going to put this right up into the corner. It's just going to be easier for me to line everything up. So we're going to go ahead with the glue again. And you know, you could cut this out using adhesive sheets. I do have those, but I don't know. I don't mind adding glue this way. Oops, there goes my ball cap. I don't mind doing this, so it's fine. It's kind of relaxing just to take your time and slow down. I had to run some errands this morning. It's raining here in Central Ohio. It hasn't stopped raining since yesterday evening. So I ran to the grocery store. I was so proud. I had coupons. Everything was all good. I got everything I needed. Got to the checkout and my coupons had every one of them were expired. I couldn't believe I didn't even notice that. I was so mad at myself. But totally on me. I had April coupons, and I swear we were in the month of April, and it's May, what day? It's May 4th as I'm recording this. It'll get posted much later than that, but because I do record ahead of time and I take my time to edit, and then I schedule my videos out a little ways. Anyway, total bad move on my part, not paying attention to what month we're in, for goodness sake. Have any of you ever done that? I mean, I can't be the only one that days. It's just been a few days into May. I mean, I feel like it's an honest mistake. Oh my goodness. It's like when you flip to a new year and you're writing a check, if any of you still write checks. I don't write many, but I do have a couple that I write. But just flipping it to a new year is always going to take a minute to really think. All right, so I have this up into the corner, and then I'm just going to put this right up into the corner. Okay. And then I'm going to put the book. I'm going to put the book back on it. All right. So this card is almost done. So we have our butterfly. And I'm going to take this tool. Let me get this mat out of here because that has glue on it. And this is a bone folder. All right. And it just helps crease your cardstock once you fold it. But what you can also use it to just make a crease. It has like a rounded, kind of a rounded edge to it. I have another one. Where is it? I'm actually going to use this other one. It's a little bit thicker. So it has a thicker edge. I'm going to use that. Because what I want to do is I'm just going to lay it in the middle of the butterfly and I'm going to bring the wings up and crease them. So I'm essentially making a little flat surface on the bottom of the butterfly, and that's what we're going to glue onto our card, which is right here. And I have this sentiment that I'm going to use here in my little dish. It's a thinking of you sentiment. All right, we're going to use that. And this one comes from also GinaKDesigns. She has these sentiment strips. And this one is just called Sentiment Sheets Mixed Messages. Mixed Messages, right there. And it's just a sheet, 8.5 by 11 with, just different greetings. They're all the same. One is white with black lettering, and the other one is black with white lettering. And you can cut these out with scissors. I did cut it out with scissors first, and then I used a small paper trimmer and just trimmed it up a little bit. But you can use, if you have a rectangular die, you can die cut those out. So I did that, and then I took some black cardstock scraps, and I think I have, I have 3 layers, and I just glued all 3 layers to the back just to give it a little bit of dimension. You can use foam squares as well, but I have a lot of scraps, and I'm just trying to use things up. And so let's go ahead and add some glue to just the body of the back of the butterfly. Okay, and I think I want him or her to go right in the middle. And I'm just going to hold it there for a second. We can hold it flat because we can always put the wings back up once it's dry, and then we'll just go ahead and glue the sentiment down as well. I'm going to put that right there. Just going to tuck that in there. And I'm just going to, first of all, I need to get it straight. Sorry, my hat again. Sometimes I have to just look straight on to make sure it's straight. So yeah, that looks good. And there you have a sweet little card that I almost had glued shut. But isn't that cool? It's so pretty, just with that background plate to that die. You can use holographic paper, glitter paper. I kind of just like the soft background with the vibrant butterfly. I really like that, and I like that he's kind of flying right off the page. Yeah, very nice. All right, so that is my finished card project for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. You'll get a notification when my videos pop up every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I don't want you to miss out on that. So I'd love to have you next week. Until then, make it a great week.